Clarity Act defined mature blockchains. Here's what it missed. Decentralization is not enough to determine whether a blockchain is truly mature, argues Algorand's chief strategy officer Marc Vanlerberghe. As the digital asset industry evolves, so does the language we use to describe it. A promising new term, mature blockchain, has entered the regulatory discourse via the Clarity Act, a bipartisan legislative proposal aimed at providing much-needed regulatory certainty around digital assets in the U.S. Among other things, it defines a mature blockchain as one that is sufficiently decentralized and not reliant on any single person or entity to operate. This makes decentralization a critical legal distinction, and may also determine whether an asset on a given network should be treated as a security. However, fitting the definition of decentralized doesn't mean a blockchain is ready for global scale or real-world adoption. To bring blockchain technology into mainstream real-world use, maturity must mean more than just decentralization. It must also mean operational readiness, i.e. the ability of a network to deliver performance, reliability, and scalability under these conditions. Decentralization is and must remain a foundational pillar of blockchain. It ensures resilience, neutrality, and censorship resistance. But decentralization alone is not enough. A blockchain that is highly decentralized but cannot reliably scale or routinely suffers downtime or finalizes transactions only after minutes of uncertainty will struggle to support the kinds of applications, payments, identity verification, tokenized assets that the world is ready for. Some blockchains today, like Ethereum and Cardano, are still working through what could be called growing pains. Their engineering teams are focused on solving base layer challenges, scaling past double-digit transactions per second, reducing finality times from minutes to seconds, stabilizing consensus mechanisms, or addressing uptime reliability. These challenges are real, and the work is important. But they also signal that the network is still in its developmental phase, not yet ready to support high-stakes, production-grade use. By contrast, a handful of blockchains like Solana and Algorand have already moved past these foundational hurdles. They've demonstrated the ability to deliver high throughput, low latency, sub-3-second finality, and virtually zero downtime. These networks aren't scrambling to stabilize. They're focused on simplifying the user experience, onboarding non-Web3 developers, integrating with decentralized identity frameworks, and supporting regulated use cases like payments, tokenization, and even AI agent transactions. This shift from survival to usability is the true marker of a mature blockchain. It's what signals readiness not just to regulators, but to developers, enterprises, and end users. So how do we recognize blockchain maturity in practice? One clue is the roadmap. If a blockchain's roadmap is dominated by protocol-level upgrades, core infrastructure rework, or fundamental scalability improvements, often expressed in years, it's likely still working to stabilize. That doesn't mean it won't mature, but it's not there yet. On the other hand, if the roadmap is centered around new features and expanding usability, integrations, and new use cases, that is a strong signal that the chain is content with its technical foundation and is capable of scaling. Decentralization is important, and the focus the Clarity Act gives it is a good thing. By introducing the concept of blockchain maturity, the proposed legislation invites us to move beyond one-size-fits-all thinking and begin differentiating between networks not just by ideology, but by architecture, performance, and purpose. It also lays the foundation for institutional adoption, where chains that meet both decentralization and operational maturity thresholds can be treated as truly public infrastructure. In a world where blockchains are expected to settle billions in value, host critical identity credentials, and power automated machine-to-machine payments, both its trustlessness and trustworthiness are essential. We must keep decentralization as a non-negotiable principle, but we must also insist on real-world reliability. Maturity, in this expanded sense, is about balance. It's about chains that have preserved decentralization while delivering enterprise-grade performance. Chains that don't just resist capture, but resist failure. Chains that are ready not just for crypto-native experimentation, but for meaningful adoption in industries like finance, energy, mobility, and beyond. The future of blockchain won't be shaped by ideology alone. It will be shaped by networks that are ready to integrate, to scale, to settle instantly, and to disappear quietly into the infrastructure of daily life. That's the kind of maturity that will move this industry from speculation to significance.